We have 1 day in Dublin and 6 tours booked. Can we fit them all in? 2 people, 1 city, 6 tours. Stick around to see if we can do it. Good morning. We are on our way to Kilmainham Gaol today.
So then the Irish people as a nation were okay?
We actually just had like the funniest bus ride ever. The bus driver, he told us to stand right by him and told us Irish history and a few places to go eat and go to some pubs. So that was like really cool. But we're here a half hour early. No coffee. No coffee in sight. When we visit a new place, we try to really immerse ourselves in its culture and history. And that's what brought us to Kilmainham Gaol, one of Dublin's most powerful historic sites. Tickets must be booked online, and they go on sale 28 days in advance at midnight Ireland time. So set an alarm if you plan to visit. Sometimes a few cancelled slots appear the morning of the tours. We managed to get the first tour of the day, so we waited outside until they started checking tickets. Once inside, we found out there's a small cafe if you need coffee, but you can't take drinks on the tour. Something to keep in mind. Photography is allowed, but filming requires prior permission, which we didn't have, so beyond a certain point, I only have photos. It opened in 1796, replacing an older, overcrowded jail. In those early years, conditions were terrible. Men, women, and yes, even children were all held here together. People were jailed for everything, from petty theft to unpaid debts. And during the famine, many ended up here simply because they had nowhere else to go. You'll hear about several key figures from Ireland's struggle for independence. Patrick Pearse was one of the most visible leaders. He read the proclamation of the Irish Republic outside the GPO and helped lead the Easter Rising. James Connolly was another central figure. He served as a military commander during the fighting and was badly wounded. His execution here is one of the most emotional moments in the jail's history. Thomas MacDonagh, Thomas Clark, Sean MacDiarmada, and Éamon Siant were also imprisoned and executed here. Many of them were signatories of the proclamation, and in total, 14 men were executed in the days following the 1916 Rising. There's also a deeply personal story that takes place inside these walls. Joseph Plunkett, a poet, writer, and one of the Rising's leaders, married Grace Gifford in the prison chapel where you will visit just hours before his execution. Grace was brought to the chapel late at night, and they had only minutes together before he was taken to the stonebreaker's yard. As you walk through the east wing, the cells, and the yard, you can feel how unforgiving life was here. In the mid-1800s, the jail was expanded. That east wing, with its stacked gallery design, was built during the Victorian era to allow guards to watch every cell. This is likely the photo you've seen of the jail, as it's hauntingly beautiful. Today, Kilmainham Gaol stands as both a museum and a memorial. The guided tour takes you through the cells, the chapel, and the execution yard, and the guides bring every story to life with so much passion. It's heavy, but absolutely worth seeing if you want to truly begin to understand Ireland's past. When you leave, what really lingers isn't just the architecture, it's the stories of the people who were here, both the ordinary prisoners and the ones who helped shape a nation. Right after, we made our way to Dublin Castle. It was their Heritage Saturday event, which meant free entry into the state apartments, but limited access. It was pretty busy, and we found it hard to linger without being surrounded by a crowd. We climbed the impressive grand staircase, and in that moment, you can almost feel the layers of history beneath you. The castle was originally built around 1204 on the site of an earlier Viking settlement and later served for centuries as the seat of English and then British administration in Ireland. A major fire in 1684 destroyed large parts of the medieval fortress, and what we see now is mostly the reconstruction from the late 17th and 18th centuries, when it was reimagined as a grand palace. The state apartments were used by the viceroy and for major receptions. As we walked through, everything felt royal and ornate, purposefully built to impress. The state drawing room, for example, was remodeled in the early 1830s from earlier 17th century chambers and features a screen of Corinthian columns and decorative details. We then moved into the throne room. Built for ceremonial use, the throne itself was made for the visit of King George IV in 1821, and until the end of British rule was the setting for formal audiences. We ended up in St. Patrick's Hall, originally the ballroom of the Viceregal Court from the mid-18th century. The ceiling painting by Vincenzo Waldre, begun in 1788, remains one of Ireland's finest surviving 18th century decorative schemes. We were there for only about 40 minutes, and although it was brief, it was packed with visual impact and history. Right after visiting Dublin Castle, we had a quick 5-minute walk over to Christ Church Cathedral. From the outside, it looks like something straight out of a movie. Once you step inside, it's even more impressive. This site has been sacred for nearly 1,000 years. The first church here was founded around 1038 during the Viking era, and the current building largely dates back to the Norman reconstruction in 1172. As you move through the cathedral, you can literally see the layers of history. The architecture is this fascinating blend of medieval Gothic and Victorian design, and there's a reason for that. By the 1800s, Christ Church was actually in danger of collapsing. The massive restoration that saved it took place in the 1870s, led by architect George Edmund Street. And what's really interesting is that it was paid for by Henry Rowe, the whiskey distiller. His donation at the time was worth over £230,000, which would be millions today. That restoration gave the cathedral much of the look we see now, from the beautiful patterned tiles on the floor to the pointed arches and flying buttresses that support the structure. One of the most famous features here is the tomb of Strongbow, the Norman lord who played a key role in the Norman invasion of Ireland. His effigy sits inside the cathedral and has become one of its most recognizable symbols. And yes, this church is also where you'll find one of Dublin's strangest relics, the mummified cat and rat. They were found inside a church organ pipe back in the 1800s and somehow got preserved. But maybe the most memorable part of the entire visit comes at the end, when you head downstairs into the crypt. The crypt stretches beneath almost the entire cathedral and dates back to the early 13th century. It's one of the oldest and largest crypts in Ireland, filled with centuries of history and artifacts. It's quiet, a little eerie, but fascinating. Ending the visit down in that crypt, surrounded by stone walls that have held nearly a millennium of history, was the perfect way to close out our time at Christ Church Cathedral. We finished our morning at St. Patrick's Cathedral, and to me, this felt like the most iconic cathedral in Ireland. It was busier than Christ Church, but also massive, ornate, and absolutely beautiful. St. Patrick baptized converts nearby in the 5th century, and by the 12th century, a small stone church stood here. The current Gothic structure began rising around 1191 when it was designated a cathedral for the Church of Ireland. Over the centuries, it's seen everything from medieval coronations to political upheaval. In the 1500s, during the Reformation, it became an Anglican cathedral and stayed that way even after centuries of religious tension across Ireland. Inside, every inch reflects that long history. You can find memorials to soldiers, statesmen, writers, and clergy, including Jonathan Swift, the author of Gulliver's Travels, who served as dean here in the 1700s. The mix of Gothic stonework, stained glass, and carved wood tells a story of changing eras layered on top of one another. By the mid-1800s, though, the cathedral was falling apart. That's when Sir Benjamin Lee Guinness of the famous brewing family stepped in. He funded a massive restoration in the 1860s, personally paying for much of the work that saved the building from collapse. Because of that, the Guinness name is permanently tied to St. Patrick's, quite literally helping preserve one of Ireland's most important landmarks. What surprised me most was how family-friendly it felt. They've built in interactive displays and hands-on exhibits to help younger visitors learn about the building's history, which makes it much easier to experience with kids than many cathedrals of this age. One of the most touching features is the Tree of Remembrance. Visitors can write messages for loved ones affected by conflict and hang them on metal leaves. Being here was both awe-inspiring and humbling. To stand inside a place that has witnessed so much of Ireland's story and still feels very much alive today. As we left, a horse-drawn carriage passed by, which just felt like the perfect moment. From there, we made our way toward the Trinity College area for lunch at a place our bus driver had raved about that morning, the bank. The moment we walked in, our jaws dropped. It was absolutely stunning. Easily one of the most beautiful restaurants I've ever been in. High ceilings, ornate details, and that grand, historic feel that makes you stop and just look around. Their menu isn't huge, but everything sounded amazing. We decided on the Alfredo, one plain and one with chicken, and if you go, definitely get the chicken. It was incredibly buttery and delicious. We also ordered a couple of drinks, and that's where I discovered Orchard Thieves cider, which instantly became my favorite of the trip. I wish we had it back in the States or something comparable. While we waited, we just sat there taking it all in. The restaurant itself is gorgeous. As we were leaving, I noticed they even had a replica of the Book of Kells, which was perfect since that was our next stop. Overall, the bank is one of those places I absolutely recommend, both for the food and for the experience. As we walk up to Trinity College, a quick tip: book your tickets for the Book of Kells experience in advance. They sell out quickly. You might get lucky and grab one last minute, but it's not guaranteed. The day we went, it was completely sold out, so I was really glad we planned ahead. This was the stop I was most excited for in Dublin. They offer a free audio guide you can use on your phone, so bring your headphones. It's much easier than holding your phone to your ear the whole time. The exhibit walks you through how the Book of Kells was made, and as someone who's always nerded out about it, I was completely fascinated. There's even an Ogham stone, one of Ireland's earliest forms of writing. You'll see the tools, pigments, and vellum used to create the manuscript, all painstakingly done by hand. The Book of Kells itself dates back to around the 9th century. It's believed to have begun on the island of Iona, off the coast of Scotland, and was brought to Ireland after Viking raids forced monks to flee. It's one of the most beautifully illustrated manuscripts in the world. Before you reach the long room, you get to see the real Book of Kells on display. It's encased in glass. No photos or videos allowed. I'd studied it in art history years ago, and seeing it in person felt genuinely mind-blowing. After that, you head up a staircase, and as soon as I turned the corner at the top, my breath just caught. There it was, the long room. Even though I'd seen it in photos, nothing compares to seeing it in person. It's every book lover's dream, rows of dark wooden shelves that stretch endlessly, filled with centuries of history. The room is partially empty right now because the library's undergoing a massive restoration project. The last time it was this empty was over 300 years ago, but that actually made it more special. Seeing some books already restored while others waited their turn felt like witnessing a rare moment in time. Down the center are display cases with artifacts, the most famous being the Brian Boru harp, Ireland's national symbol. Along the sides are marble busts of great writers and philosophers, and recently they've started adding women to that collection, which I loved seeing. We visited the new Book of Kells experience, a modern, immersive exhibition that brings the manuscript to life. There's this incredible digital display where illuminated letters float through the air and a short film that tells the story behind the book. The whole experience, from the exhibit to the long room, is an absolute 10 out of 10. It's one of those rare places that makes you truly appreciate the beauty of knowledge, art, and history, all in one space. Next up, our final tour of the evening, the Guinness Storehouse. We walked up to it and it's massive. Blocks and blocks of buildings at the historic St. James Gate, where the beer was born. Make sure you book in advance because they do sell out. Don't skip this tour. Whether you like beer or not, this place is incredible. We waited outside until our assigned entry time. Once it was our slot, we went in and queued briefly inside. From there, visitors are released to explore on their own with an audio guide. There's even a water feature that shows how much of the beer is made up of water, visually reminding you how central the water source at St. James Gate has always been. You begin by learning the 4 key ingredients: water, barley, hops, and yeast. You actually see the barley, get a feel for how it's malted and roasted, and you're shown the massive vats and pipes in the older fermentation building. Walking through, this is easily the most interactive, immersive, and visual museum tour I've ever taken. Everything changes as you move through the floors. The lighting, the sounds, the video projections, the architecture. Every angle has something new to take in. Then you're taken through roasting. The smell of the roasted barley that gives Guinness its signature color. The building itself has its own story. The storehouse sits in what was once the fermentation plant for the brewery, built between 1902 and 1904 in the style of the Chicago School of Architecture, the first multi-story steel-framed building in Ireland. The atrium of the building is shaped like a giant pint of Guinness, with 7 floors built around it, each layer telling a piece of the story. Next, you walk into the tasting room. It starts off dark and narrow, and then they open the door to a bright white space lined with cylinders filled with hops, yeast, and other ingredients you can smell. You grab your mini Guinness and walk into the next room, where the guide walks you through how to taste it, how to look at the color, appreciate the head, and follow the flavor progression. It's cool because you feel like you're being taught to appreciate something you might have always taken for granted.
The main rule to drinking Guinness: never take a sip. When you take just a sip, you're getting only the bitterness from the foam. So you're meant to take a generous mouthful every time. That way you can appreciate all the flavors together. We're going to do a technique that is called the retronasal technique. I want you to inhale your drink. Take a generous mouthful, about half of your glass. Move it around your mouth for a few seconds before you swallow. When you swallow, with your mouth still closed, you can exhale through your nose. If you're doing that right, at the tip of your tongue, you should be getting the sweetness of the malts and the esters. At the side, you should be getting the rich flavors of the roasted barley. At the back, you should be getting the dry, bitter finish of the hops. Sláinte! I'm going to count to 3 now. Everyone is going to say sláinte, and then you drink up what's left in your glass. 2, 3. Sláinte! Enjoy. So I'm going to ring this bell now to celebrate that you're now Guinness tasting experts.
Oh, that's the harp. From there, the tour moves into the advertising and brand history. Walls of vintage posters, interactive screens, and some of Guinness's most clever campaigns. We got Stouties, so it prints your picture on top of your pint. Finally, you'll encounter the Stouty station. We paid extra for it, but having our faces printed on our pint was the coolest thing ever. Took our photo and they put it on a beer. These are called Stouties. Aren't they so cute? Love them. All right, cheers to our first pint of Guinness at the storehouse. Cheers. Here we go.
I almost buy another one.
We were lucky enough to score a seat in the tasting area overlooking the rooftops of the brewery and the beautiful city of Dublin. Whether you care about beer or not, the Guinness Storehouse is an absolute must. This is so cool.
Yeah.
I already feel full. This is a lot of beer. This is like a meal.
Oh, you smell that?
Huh?
Smell it? Barley?
Yeah. This is a really cool experience. You can see our faces. We're so cute. Gravity room and we scored a table by the window, so super excited about that. I decided to go with the lager instead of the stout just because the stout is like heavy and rich and it's just a lot. So anyway, cheers. Cheers. Let me show you the view. Cheers! Cheers! Oh. Oh. It's IPA-ish. That's really good. It's the lager.
Beautiful.
Look how pretty they are. Oh my god. I love them. I don't want it to end. Come back. Goodness. We're gonna try to find some food because we're starving. Okay, the hairy lemon it is.
Thank you.
Had dinner at the Hairy Lemon. It was crazy busy for drinks, but they do have an area that you can just eat at. And I had the curry, which was really good, with chicken, although there wasn't like a ton of chicken in it. It was a lot more veggies than chicken, but it was still really good and like enough. It was filling for sure. Alex had the bangers and mash, and he thought they were really good too. We did just have some water. He had a beer. So just like very chill, but after we ate, we just got so tired. It's 10 o'clock. We've been going since like 8 o'clock this morning. Back in our room. We are gonna pack our bags and get ready for an early morning tomorrow.
They said we got a cure for your soul day to day. It's a trap.